Hey everybody, this is Brandon Woloff, Holistic Health Counselor, and I wanted to talk to you about the recent craze that's sweeping San Francisco, LA, and New York, I'm sure, probably Chicago, New York, I said New York, Chicago, Miami, and other major cities like Portland, Seattle, who are health-conscious cities, and that is cold-pressed juice. I work for a company called Project Juice, and we're a cold-pressed organic juice startup in San Francisco. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, which I'm finding there to be a lot of confusion, is people don't really know the difference between cold-pressed juice, non-cold-pressed juice, what it is, because it's now starting to seep into the verbiage of our collective consciousness. People are referring to juice as cold-pressed. They know cold-pressed is better, and they might not know why. And there's different ways that juice companies produce their juice as well as process it and keep it on the shelf that I wanted to shed some light on to you or for you because I think it's going to be important as we move forward here and juice gets crazier and crazier because there is kind of a juice war that's going on. You know, there's a lot of juice companies starting up. People are doing juice cleanses. They're buying juice in bottles. They're wondering how a cold-pressed organic juice can sit on a shelf in a bottle for a couple days. I see people coming into our stores and reaching for the back of the bottle in the back of the shelf. So, there's a lot to be said about how people are perceiving what's going on in these retail locations versus what actually is happening, and just to give you guys some education and feedback so you know how to proceed and choose a really good juice in the marketplace. So the first thing is, what is cold pressed juice? Cold pressed juice is just a way that juice companies juice their products, obviously their products being plants, green leafy plants, vegetables, fruits, by not using heat. And there's many different juicers on the market. The ones that we use and the ones that most people use are the Norwalk press, which is a hydraulic press, cold press. So, the idea is, I'm sure you can understand this when you hear cold pressed juice, is that the juicer isn't using heat to extract. So a lot of juicers, commercial juicers that you see when you go into a juice bar, the ones that are sounding like this, that was my commercial juicer impersonation, use a couple natural elements that break down organic material. Air, heat, and light all break down organic material, and if you're getting an organic juice that's raw, then you don't want it to oxidize because all those valuable nutrients and enzymes will begin to break down before they go into your body. So you want those. So those commercial juicers are pumping air through the centrifugal little chamber that's being ran by a motor, which after a while can heat the juice. If you've noticed that at home, I used to use a Champion juicer, and after stuffing greens in it and putting a lot of stuff through that little tiny hole, my juice was hot. Hot juice is not good because you want your juice to stay cold, or at least room temperature, because heat will kill and destroy nutrients. And that's the whole purpose of juice, is that you're getting those nutrients absorbed right away. So, and then those juicers also pump air through that chamber to push the juice out, causing a lot of air bubbles to be present in the juice, and that also will break down the enzymes and the nutrients. Now, the Norwalk press, the cold press juicers, do a grind. They grind the plants without using a lot of heat or really no heat. You get juice that way. They take the pulp and then it's pressed in a hydraulic press, getting more juice out of the plants without using heat, therefore in keeping those nutrients and the enzymes and all the vitamins and everything that's in the plants intact, ready for you. There's the difference, cold pressed, non-cold pressed. Now, here's something else you should know. There's also cold processed, high pressure processed, versus just a raw juice. And this is where there begins to be a little bit of a gray area in the world of juicing, because, is it better to get a cold pressed juice that's been high pressure process, which I'll talk about in a second, or a non-cold pressed juice that you get made right there for you. So here's the thing. If you've seen Harmless Harvest, the coconut water, hit the shelves a couple of years ago, it's the best coconut water on the market. Obviously, it tastes the best. You're not getting it in a can, or you're not getting it in a Tetra Pak. You know, things like Amy and Brian, C2O, Zico, those companies, Vita Coco, those companies are all pasteurizing their coconut water. They're heating it, and a lot of times they come from concentrated coconut waters, and it just doesn't taste that good. If you've noticed, if you've ever tasted a raw coconut or juice out of a raw coconut, the water, you'll know that it tastes better than anything you can buy in a Tetra Pak carton or a can. Now, Harmless Harvest came out with their raw coconut water. That is high pressure processed. And some of these companies will actually say they're high pressure processed, like the juice company Forager Project, which is based out of San Francisco. And that is a method of they're juicing, or they're taking the coconut water raw, juicing it raw, putting it in a bottle, sealing it, then putting it in a cold water chamber or tank and putting it under vast amounts of pressure, like between 30,000 and 90,000 metric tons of pressure. I don't even know how much that is. I can't experience, I don't know from experience how much pressure that would be, but it's enough pressure to kill the newly formed bonds that are in the juice. Now, the newly formed bonds are the bacteria, because after you juice something and it hits air, newly formed bonds are forming, and those are E. coli, salmonella, bacteria, etc., which can help break down the juice and maybe even get you sick if you're not drinking a juice that's high pressure processed. So, the benefit of high pressure is you're not using heat, it's killing the newly formed bonds and bacteria, and it's not killing the strong bonds, which are the nutrients. So a company like ours, Project Juice, companies like Press Juicery, companies like Blueprint Cleanse, Suja being the largest growing and fastest growing juice company right now in the country, use high pressure processed. So they can sit on the shelf a little longer, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, and the nutrients stay intact. Now, some people don't like that. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't like the fact that my juice is sitting on the shelf for that long. I'm not down with that. Other people and other customers that I've encountered, after telling them the way we process our juice, are like, great, I know I'm not going to get sick, and I trust you and believe you because this is a good product, it tastes good, and if there's all the nutrients that are available after the high pressure, I'm going to drink that product. People obviously come back and they like it. Okay, now there are other companies that are not high pressure processing, that are juicing off-site and providing juice in their bottles, or for instance, Juice Shop SF, the nice glass bottles with the, kind of the hip logo and the text. They don't high pressure, meaning you're at risk if you buy their juice. However, their juice has not been high pressure processed. So some people like that, some people don't like that. And then there are companies like Native Juice Company in San Francisco,